Hi, this might be a short video because it's cold, and so my hand is cold holding the phone up so you can see me. But on the other hand, maybe my walking to the bus will warm me up. We'll see. It's Tuesday, it's Wednesday morning. And I had a jam-packed weekend. I was in class all weekend, and this weekend's class was Methods in Education 2, so it's the same professor I had for Methods in Education 1, and she's amazing. I learned so much from her, and she's also really good at, like, pulling students aside for things. She's just, and, like, she's got this thing she does where she goes with both hands, which means, puppet master, like, she's holding some marionettes. So she's like, oh, you know, I don't, how to explain it, like, when you want to steer something to go this specific way, you say this thing, and then it happens the way you want it to, and then she does the puppet master thing, and it's pretty funny. I really like her, and yeah, like, she's good at pulling students aside. So there was one, I, like, volunteered to try to, you know, we learn how to respond to various questions, so one of them was like, well, why should we make accommodations for transgender students? There are so few of them. And so I stood up and I was like, well, it's, you know, it's like how we make accommodations for students who use wheelchairs. Every building has to have a ramp. So just because there aren't a whole lot of them doesn't mean we don't make accommodations. And then it was totally legitimately pointed out that that is continuing the dialogue of comparing being transgender with having a disability. So while it is a totally legit analogy, it is probably not what we want our party line to be, and that there are other ways that we can address that question. And I was like, oh, like, that's a really good point. I'm so glad somebody pointed that out. You're right, I was just going for an analogy and not thinking of the appropriateness of the two populations of the analogy. And she pulled me aside afterwards, like on the lunch break, and she was like, I just really want to tell you how much I appreciate that you're always willing to give it a go, and that you never feel upset, and, like, you take constructive criticism so well. And I was just like, aw, Dr. Schroeder, you're manipulating me really effectively, because I feel great when you talk to me like that. Yay! And on Saturday night after class, I went and babysat for two people from Cold Sedek, a 3-year-old named Orin, whom I've mentioned to you, and her 10-year-old sister, Maya. And they're just like angel children. We just sat on the couch and watched YouTube videos of cuttlefish and dolphins, and Maya played her flute for me, and we played Yahtzee. I learned how to play Yahtzee. It's pretty fun. And Orin, she's obsessed with me, and it's so cute. She kept, you know, I'd be doing something or talking to Maya or taking a bite of food, and she'd say, Galia, and I'd say, oh, yes, Orin, and she would just go. And then I would laugh, and she just, like, wanted my attention. And there was one point where we were sitting, like, not on opposite sides of the table. She was sitting on the side of the table next to the side where I was sitting, and she just, without saying anything, just got off her chair, and she's tiny, she's smaller than her chair, and like, shoved and pulled her chair until it was closer to me, and then climbed back on her chair, and then stood on her chair and pulled her plate and cup closer towards her, and then sat down on the chair. She just wanted to be closer to me. It's really flattering when a 3-year-old really wants to be close to you, I'll tell you. And then on Sunday was tough, because class got kind of emotional for a lot of people for a really long story that I'm not going into, but it means we, like, missed out on a lot of content for processing something that happened, and a lot of processing in my program. And then also just, like, it was exhausting having this 20-person emotional experience. And then I, like, got a ride back to West Philly and went to Simchat Torah at Cold Sedek, and I arrived, like, right as, like, mid-experience, so I didn't get to join any of the building action. I got there and they were already, like, at a climax of activity and energy, and it was just a really rough transition for me. So that was kind of overwhelming. And then I had two friends, my friends Ian and Lanthier, who are from Virginia, were in town to visit Bryn, and I didn't want to not see them. So I went to, after Simchat Torah, and dancing the Hakafot, and carrying the Torah, and singing, and, like, pulling myself up to that level of energy. I was exhausted, and then I went to Rin's house to hang out with Ian and Lanthier, I was so tired that I took a lift home from 40th and Market. Like, I couldn't even walk a mile. I was so exhausted. And also I've like nicely reached this point in my life where, you know what? I'm a grown-ass woman and I've got a job. I can take a $6 lift to get home if I'm too tired to walk. And that feels like a waste of money, but like it's also, I can do that, and so I'm going to. I'm not gonna do it often. I'm not gonna waste that, but it's, yeah, I have the opportunity to take care of myself sometimes. Monday evening was family night, and as you saw from Twitter, I did all the things except sweep the stairs, which are awful. They're just covered in cat fur and clumps, and it makes me upset, but I haven't had time to sweep, and nobody else has, and I'm the one who cares, so I need to sweep when I find some time, which will probably be on Friday or next week, because I have a huge paper due on Sunday night that I have not gotten very far on. So today is Wednesday, so all this evening and tomorrow evening I'm going to my friend Ricky's house to work on it, and then all day Saturday and Sunday we're gonna work on it, except Sunday from 9 to 3 when I agreed to babysit for another congregant's child. Foolishly, I mean, I don't mind the extra money and I like the kids and I like building community. It's just the time that I don't have. But I'm doing it anyway because building community, making money, and hanging out with cute kids are all things that are pretty important to me. This was one where, like, I didn't remember the kid's name. I just knew that she smiled at me every time I walked by. And so her mom Facebook friended me and then messaged me a day or two later and was like, hey, please don't be offended if this isn't a thing you do, but if you babysit, Eliana would love to spend some time with you. And I was like, Eliana, yes, thanks for saying your kid's name. It's always a victory when that happens. And it's like, so Miriam is the mother that I know, and her partner needs to write a grant or like work on a grant. So it's gonna be, the first time I sit for this kid is gonna be while one of her moms is in the house, which I never really love when one of the parents is home, but oh well. Like, money, kid, friendship, yay! And that's pretty much everything in my life right now. Tuesday night was date night, and that was nice and low-key, as it usually is. And now it's Wednesday, and I'm on my way to work, and this video is almost 8 minutes long. I'm so sorry, sister. So I'm gonna stop now, and bye.